All popular stories, those that are told from parents to children, always but always have a real context behind them, and the movies that changed the childhood of millions are no exception. In just a few seconds, I'm going to tell you the true and terrible story that inspired the movie Marcelino Vino, and I assure you, it's going to tear your soul apart. And if by chance you are very young and know nothing about this story, just give it a try. Let's go. Approach your father or your mother or one of your grandparents and ask them, do you know who Marcelino Vino is? And watch. I promise you that as soon as you finish saying it, you will see how their eyes light up with happiness and nostalgia. And of course, leave me in the comments how they reacted, what they told you, and I want to read from others telling where and how old they were when they first saw it. Stay with me and you will know the terrible real story that inspired the book and the movie that broke records and that Hollywood never saw coming. And I am the documentalist, and this is Marcelino Bread and Wine. Marcelino Bread and Wine is a cinematic gem. It premiered in 1955. Based on the novel by the Spanish José María Sánchez Silva, its success was overwhelming, becoming a classic of cinema and leaving an indelible mark, also in Latin America, where generations have grown up with its moving message. The story takes place in a monastery where a group of monks adopts an abandoned baby and raises him with tenderness. Marcelino grows up happy and mischievous. One day when he goes up to the forbidden attic, he finds a giant crucifix, and seeing Jesus thin, he thinks he is hungry, so he offers him bread and wine. Miraculously, the image comes to life and speaks to him, becoming his heavenly friend. What is the recurring theme they talk about? About mothers, what they are like, where they are, and Jesus explains everything about them. Until the boy asks Christ to go to heaven to meet her. That ending shocked the world. Now then, pay attention, because the next is the real story of Juanillo de Lucia. Prado, a beautiful widow of 26 years with 4 sons, faced the greatest tragedy in that spring of 1829, where poverty was rampant. In that village on the outskirts of Madrid, she had to deal with the utmost pain because her sons, the triplets Martin, Marcelo, and Mateo, of 11 years old, were buried underground. Juan, her brother, our protagonist, was the youngest son. He was only 9 years old. He had survived the collapse of the huge pit where they worked because someone had called him by his name to get out of there. Yes, a voice told him. Juan de Lucia, get out now, your time has not come yet. Shouldn't you still be in bed? In the depths of that well, the boy looked terrified at his older brothers. He threw the shovel thinking it was that doctor who had told his mother that Juan should rest until the cough passes. Juan came out of the well saying, please, doctor, that mom doesn't find out that I came to work with my brothers. We need the 12 reals that they pay us. We need them to give her a gift tomorrow. We finish digging this basement, and with that money, we will buy her the dress of roses, the one we saw in the store. But when his eyes got used to the light, he saw that there was no one there, neither near nor far. He looked to one side and the other, and only saw grass and leaves dragged by the wind, and then his skin bristled, and that's when he heard it. The sound of the earth sliding was dry and terrifying, and not even a single scream from the twins was heard. They didn't even have time for that. In a second they were buried, there in the depths of that well in the most horrifying silence. Juan used his own hands to finish. Nothing could be done. The first thing he found was one of those shovels. He took it out to help himself and found Mateo and Martin, who were together with their eyes open, and the face? That typical face of terror from someone who dies of suffocation. He finally also took out Marcelo, who had his jaw dislocated by the force of the collapse. The 3 bodies that cost him so much effort to unearth were buried again after that mass 2 days later. Imagine that poor mother carrying the pain. Despite the support of the doctor and the entire town, something broke inside her. Something plunged her into the greatest anger and wrapped her in guilt. Her head only gave her one answer to so much tragedy. Blame herself and justify in her exhausted mind that she was going to kill Juan. That's right, the distraught woman thought. He disobeyed me and ran away to be with his brothers. My beautiful triplets are dead. Juan, 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 when I die of sadness, you will be left here all alone. And that would be cruel. But they were not my own thoughts, of course not. It was the devil who, seeing the scene, felt that the woman was weak and then, as these damned always do, appeared. Because he knows that in those moments of desperation, his poisonous words sink deep and profound into the will of any soul wounded so brutally, and the devil only dares to approach a mother when he sees her sad and with little effort. He can make them feel guilty for any harm that may have befallen their children. The infernal one repeated over and over and over again. Do not let the triplets down and send their little brother with them. Stab him in the neck, you know I'm not lying. When your 4 children are in paradise, you can die peacefully, and I will receive you in hell, where I will burn the guilt of your soul for having failed as a mother, and boy did you fail. You had 4 children, and only Juan is left alive, whom you will leave orphaned in this horrible world. Save him from pain knife into paradise. The evil one dominated her quickly, and all goodness was erased from her face. Crying and trembling, he opened the room where the 4 tight beds were no longer necessary. Knife in hand, he saw Juan's face pleading with one foot out the window, ready to escape. It was the saddest scene of all time. In a heartbreaking plea, the boy told him, "Mom, please drop the knife." "No, Mom, why do you want to hurt me?" "I didn't do anything, Mommy." And without wasting a second, he jumped and moved away from there through the tall grass. But why did he have one leg in the window when his mother came in? Because that voice, the same one that had pulled him out of the well, had warned him seconds before, telling him, "Don't blame your mother. She doesn't know what she's doing. But don't try to reason with her. Listen to me, Juan. Run. Don't look at her and run." He disobeyed that part about not looking at her. He always disobeyed a little, that was his essence. And he would never forget his mom's completely black eyes holding the knife and calling him with the other hand to trick him and kill him. An elderly couple, known and successful horse sellers, found him 3 days' walk away. Juan had wanted to get as far as possible before fainting, and boy did he succeed. When he woke up, they were looking at him, holding hands. She was an old lady with a scarf on her head named Amparo, and he, an old man with 5 thick rings, who introduced himself as Sandalio. The boy took a few days to start talking again. In that time of listening to what the couple said, the following became clear to him. They looked at him with affection like some kind of miracle. They didn't have children, and he realized that they looked at him with emotion, making the sign of the cross and thanking God for having heard their prayers. Basically, they believed that Juan was Christ's answer to their pleas. Finally, the words came out of the boy, and he told everything that had happened.
The elders.
They cried and promised him that if he agreed to stay with them, he would never have to fear again. They were nomads, but they had good money in gold coins, a profession, and a lot of love to give. The elder asked him, "Can you think about it, Juanillo, and give us an answer when you're ready?" The woman had knowledge and medicines. After 15 days of battling, the little one fully recovered and agreed to stay with them. 7 months passed, and the elderly couple was fascinated with the intelligence and kindness of Juanillo. And with pride, they told everyone that the boy was their son, the one Jesus had given them. That story reached the ears of the good doctor in his hometown, who, without hesitation, approached the couple's house and after a hug with the boy, spoke to him like this. "Your mother? Well, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but she went crazy. She stopped eating and drinking and died a few days after your escape, saying that everything was her fault. Guilt consumed her. I was there when she passed away, and her last words were dedicated to the devil, saying, 'Receive me and burn my pain.' I failed them as a mother. To all my children, free me from this guilt. I repeat to you, little one, I was very lost in madness. I'm sorry." Juan cried. A few hours after saying goodbye to the doctor, he ran into a homeless man on the street who was being shoved and yelled at by store employees because his appearance scared off the upscale customers. The man sitting against the wall complained about the mistreatment, saying, "I've been without food or drink for days. And no one seems to care, can't they see me?" The boy was shocked just thinking about what that poor man was suffering and was overwhelmed with pity. He ran to get a large piece of bread and some of the wine that Sandalio usually drank and went out to look for him. He not only gave him the bread and the wine, he also sat down to talk with him as if they were old friends. He shared his sorrows and spoke for an hour about the horror he had lived, the tragedy of his brothers and his mother, while the hungry man listened attentively. Then he said goodbye to the man affectionately, placing a coin from the money the elders gave him in his coat. And he left. Only then, when he was 50 meters away, did he hear the voice of the homeless man saying, "I wish you good luck on your journey because you must honor your mother. You should always honor your mother." And he recognized that voice instantly. It was the same one that had saved his life, but when he turned around, she was no longer there. He told Amparo and Sandalio everything. The old woman, moved, told him, "We also ran into that homeless person. Many years ago, his head was bleeding, and at that time there was a plague that scared everyone. They avoided passing by where he was lying. Only Sandalio and I helped him. We removed some thorns that were stuck in him, and then..." He grabbed our hands and spoke like this. "Truly I tell you, good gypsies, that your prayers will find an answer. A son will be given to you, a disobedient one but with a good heart, who will also love you. And you, woman, the last thing you will hear in this world will be his voice calling you, Mom. And sometime later we found you, Juanillo, and I know that man was Jesus. Sandalio only believed it when we saw you, but if Christ wants you to go honor your mother, we will accompany you on that journey." Juanillo, kissing the woman, said to her, "Thank you, Amparo. You are truly good." And the old woman, crying with emotion, affectionately hit him on the mouth, saying, "Hush, hush, that you're going to kill my heart with love, but listen. That time you told us about your mother and your brothers. Well, I went to buy that rose dress from the store, and here it is. I did it because I love you so much, blessing of our lives. I thought if his real mother ever comes looking for him, he can't receive her with empty hands, and now at least you can put it as an offering on her grave at the..." Seeing that it was the same dress for which his brothers had died to gather money and be able to gift it to their mother, Juan was moved. They arrived at the cemetery of the town where he used to live, accompanied by the elders who respectfully stayed behind the tall trees and let Juan advance toward the graves of his 3 brothers and his beloved mother. Lucia was there near the statue of a huge Christ. The boy said, "Dear Mom, I know it wasn't you. That you had already gone mad when you took the knife and wanted to... You know what I mean, so I came to tell you that I forgive you and..." But the devil, feeling that the little one was alone and suffering, thought he would be an easy prey. He gathered courage, appeared and interrupted him, walking at full speed towards him, saying, "Don't you dare utter that word, no forgiveness. She's in hell. She's there because she wants to be. She begged me to help her burn her sins. She won't be better off anywhere else. Do you want to go with her and suffer for all eternity too? If you obey me, I can make your pain disappear. Just spit on your mother's grave and hate her strongly and a lot for what she did to you. Then leave and never come back." When the damned was about to continue telling him those lies to convince him, he felt a chill that moved him. He writhed in pain and looked for the guilty one, saying, "How is it possible? Who is preventing with her love that I tempt your soul? You have no mother, and only a mother can make me feel this fear." But his gaze was fixed on the old woman Amparo, who, saying ancient prayers of her people, came at full speed with her hand raised, cursing and shouting, "You will not mess with my son, or you will deal with me. I will extinguish 1,000 hells with all of you inside if you harm a single hair." The evil one fled terrified. Seeing the courage and love of that woman, he understood that he could do nothing against this child. More for being old than for being the devil. He knows he can never take a prey when a true mother protects. But Amparo pursued him and kept screaming at him unhinged. "Come on, coward, or do you only pick on grieving mothers? Try your poisons on me and you'll see what I'll do to you." The demon disappeared, and when the old woman returned, she found Sandalio and Juanillo on their knees in front of the gigantic statue. At first she didn't understand, but she saw that the sculpture had the same face as that homeless man. Then she ran and also knelt before him. Juan told Amparo, "I heard his voice again. It's inside the statue and..." Then, the cold marble where the Christ was carved cracked, and from within emerged the man, that one whom both the couple and Juan had helped, and there was no longer any doubt that it was Jesus. The long hair, the beard, the tender gaze, plus the halo of light that enveloped him like a magical and protective being. Jesus was moved. He explained to Juan that the devil had only told the truth in one thing. His mother was in hell. He said that he himself had offered the soul of the late Lucia to take her to paradise to be with the triplets. But she had not accepted. She felt so guilty for the deaths, so poisoned by the lies of the evil one, that she wished to be punished. Seeing that Juan was crying a lot, she spoke to him like this. "Truly I tell you that the devil can do no harm to your mother. I will not allow it, but she is there, awaiting her punishment, believing that she must cleanse her guilt. When your time comes, I will allow you to go and find her. We will go together, but now I ask you." That Juan interrupted him and, screaming with all his strength, begged him to let him go to hell right now, that his only wish was to get her out of there. Jesus, seeing that the boy understood perfectly that he had to die to save his mother and that this was not going to stop him, his pure and holy heart is moved. He extended his hand and said to him, "Well, little friend, then when you put your hand in mine, I will allow it. But understand that you will not return. You will fall asleep and you will never wake up again." Juan quickly said goodbye to the elders, saying, "Thank you for being so kind, but I must save my mom." And he was about to touch Jesus' hand, but he felt he had been unfair to the love he received. That this cold and urgent farewell was not appropriate. Then he looked at Amparo. And he said to her, "Amparo, you are also my mom." And she wanted to put her hand in Christ's to die and descend with him to hell. But the old woman, moved by the child's words, pushed him at the last second and put her own hand in Jesus's, who, surprised, only said, "It is done." Before falling asleep forever, Amparo managed to say, "Sandalio, I always loved you. Juanillo, I will rescue your mother," and smiling with love, she added, "your other mother." And her heart stopped at that moment. Jesus hugged her, looked at the two of them and said, "I don't want tears here. The kingdom belongs to the mothers, and in 3 nights I promise you that Lucia and Amparo will be seated to the right of mine." And caressing Juan's face, he gave him peace by saying, "Did you see the joy she had when you called her mom? I won't even have to accompany her to hell because she was happy. Obey, good boy, and stop crying. Don't worry, no one will be able to defeat Amparo." And saying this, little by little, he simply disappeared. The little one was never obedient and cried so much and so loudly that the birds fell silent and watched with sadness. After the funeral rites, Sandalio and Juan said goodbye to Amparo's body, which seemed to have simply fallen asleep with a smile. Exactly on the 3rd night, while they were praying for a sign, they saw them. The spirits of the triplets appeared, happy and hugging Lucia, who was smiling in her rose dress. Martin, Marcelo, and Mateo. They told Juan, "See, we got the gift for Mom and she's happy. It was all worth it, Mom is happy." Lucia approached her son and said, "I know you forgave me. That damn man poisoned my mind and..." But Juan interrupted her. "I believe you. He tried the same with me. But Mama Amparo saved me from doing something bad. But you were so sad and without the mom to take care of you. You couldn't do anything. I understand. Mom, I will always love you." Sandalio respectfully approached the spirit, saying, "By the way, my lady, where is my wife who has not come?" Lucia answered, laughing, "That was unbelievable. That old woman appeared out of nowhere, arrived in hell and began to shout, 'Who is responsible for making my son Juanillo suffer, holding his mother with lies?' The demons tried to flee, but not all of them made it. Believe me, she started to hit them. I've never heard so many obscenities before. When I found out that she did everything out of love for my Juan, my child, I told her that I was Lucia, and she ran to hug me, and I felt that motherly love that freed my soul and took away the weight of guilt. From behind, the spirit of Amparo arrived. She adjusted her handkerchief and strongly challenged her husband, saying, "Why are you crying? Didn't you hear Juanillo when he told me you are also my mom? That was the happiest day of my life, and you cry. Don't do it, my love. I will always take care of them, and now we must say goodbye."
What other mother is waiting for us?
The mother of Jesus. And after a final hug, they ascended to the heavens. Juanito lived a beautiful life. He got married and had his own children. He told each of them this story, and each time he ended it with the same phrase: "Always treat your mother well. If she is sad, the devil appears, but never if she is happy, because when a happy mother walks through the door, the devil flees through the window." I am El Documentalista, and this was Marcelino Vino.
The wind drags, whispers of sorrow, laments are heard in the early morning. They say that fear walks in the shadow, looking for a soul can catch. Mother who cries, the night cools, her sorrow is a fire that the devil lit. But if she laughs, if she sings and embraces, hell itself is left without you. Mother, don't cry, for evil feeds. Mother, don't fall, it waits behind. Your light is a shield, your love is a chain that even the devil knows how to tie. Take away the hours. The shadows bite with fierce hunger. But a mother who covers her child defeats death with only her love. Where is a kiss? Fear does not grow. Where is their affection? The wound goes away, mother who fights with soul and chest. Not even hell can bend her. Mother, don't cry because evil feeds. Mother, don't fall because it waits behind. Your light is a shield, your love is a chain that even the devil knows how to tie up. The documentarian knew how to tell stories of shadows and loneliness. But hell will never be able to claim what a mother does not let escape. Mother, do not cry, evil feeds. Mother, do not fall, he waits behind. Your light is a shield, your love is a chain that even the devil knows how to tie.